Ladies and gentlemen, there's been a little bit of drama, or primarily with some Wuthering Waves viewers, as it would be said by MrPokke. And there's been a couple of things that have happened. There's been a couple of things that have occurred in his playthrough right here of Genshin Impact 5.3. If I just skip forward like into the first frame of the video, what you're gonna see is this fat tweet, kind of indicating the whole situation about how his Genshin 5.3 playthrough, you know, the patch with both Wuwa, the patch with Salali, that story experience got a little bit soured because of some unruly chatters on his end. And so there's been a couple of tweets that have been pushed out over the past couple of days. Let me just go ahead and find one of them. So this is the original source of the tweet. MrPokke has not been having a great time. He found that his Genshin 5.3 experience today was partially ruined by chatters that weren't really a part of his regular community. We had a lot of big CCs like Doro44. I believe Tectone himself commented on it as well through a quote retweet. Let's go ahead and check that out real fast. You know, telling him to just permaban and move on. Don't let some bad apples spoil the bunch. And the situation over here has been a little bit spicy. And so with that, he's made a video just titled Why, detailing the situation. And I thought that it would be a good opportunity to listen to it, given my personal experiences with MrPokke, right? As he's coined me in the past the #1 Kurobot. I'm interested in hearing about what his takes are on the situation now that he's had, you know, a couple of days to cool down overall. And, you know, whether or not a lot of what he's saying is making sense, or if there's something a little bit more that's going on behind the scenes. So with that, let's go ahead, let's pop it open, and let's take a look.
I'm not gonna change my aim that in 2025 is gonna be a love, peace, and happiness for myself. I don't want to instigate. I don't even want to, you know, get into the thick of it with regards to the whole war content. But today, when I was playing my Genshin 5.3 playthrough, from the moment I started playing Genshin 5.3 to the end of my Genshin 5.3, there has been a constant, and I do mean this genuinely, a constant non-stop influx. I don't know if they're Kurobots or what they are, but they are non-stop chatters from both Twitch and YouTube. They are just constantly telling me or like asking me or essentially just saying, why are you playing Genshin Impact 5.3?
So to kind of break down the situation, provide a little bit more context, right? It seems as if Pokke is being harassed by his chat to a degree, right? He's having a couple of people going in and heavily critiquing the game, not really giving him the opportunity to experience the whole story. And that is kind of like adjacent to this idea that he wants to be more kind. He wants to be less of an instigator in 2025, kind of like a whole new year, new me sort of point of view on his content and on his community. But we also have to factor in, right, that he was, in a lot of ways, right, ladies and gentlemen, Pokke was one of the bigger instigators himself across 2024. Across many aspects of 2024, especially when it came to a game like Wuthering Waves. And so he had a lot of different focuses with his content in the latter half of 2024, especially when he was in like that whole like this is war, a gacha revenue, PvP, that sort of mindset. And that's why, in my opinion, a lot of this sort of pendulum swinging is happening. Right? You lean super far in one direction, and then eventually, right, that's gonna start swinging back. And so I think it would be a disservice in the entire context of, you know, his content and his videos and what he's done. It would be a disservice to say that this came out of nowhere, that this was something that nobody could see coming, and that these are just the actions of people who just really don't like Genshin Impact. I think that this is a result, right? I've heard a lot of people saying you reap what you sow, and let's be honest here, Pokke did sow quite a bit of discord across the latter half of 2024. However, what is also fair to say is that he was also managing his chat a lot more, managing his context when it came to Wuthering Waves and games like that at the very end of 2024. In my opinion, he made sure to actually give the game some time, give the game the space, was definitely a lot more fair in his analysis, and actually managed his chat a lot more, started reading it more. And I think that whole conversation that Pokke and I had was, in my opinion, one of the factors that got him him to shift his content approach, because his chat, I'll just go ahead and bring up the video myself. So this was basically the video, essentially way back 4 weeks ago, where Pokke and I had a super long call talking about Wuthering Waves, talking about, where, why I didn't think it was like being treated fairly in the gacha space, blah, 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 talking about like content creation and Pride as a whole. And in this video, you could tell that Pokke's chat was being, just gonna be honest about it, they were pretty fucking dented. All right, sorry, I'm getting stun locked by your chat. They're so boosted right now. Holy shit.
Dude, every single time we have this kind of like, actually it's not even every single time. Even I stream normally, my chat will be dented. I can't even fucking do a 0-second normally without them backseating.
Yeah, dude, honestly, you should just put in like a kindergarten or like, are you smarter than a 5th grader question? And I think your viewership will be cut by like 75%. In this chat or in this video. They were saying things that like, oh, like Sumeru, like nothing is locked behind doing world quests. You can get 100% exploration without doing the story quests, or without doing the world quests, and stuff like that. Just objectively was not true. And I think at this point where your chat is just saying so much dumb shit, and your chat is literally just like making up fan fiction and trying to push it forward, and in a way making the streamer look insanely bad, just because their chat looks unmoderated, looks unmanaged. I think that this was when he started paying a lot more attention. And I think that the quality of his chat from this point forward started improving dramatically. And then there was the conversation with Ryuka Sensei as well, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought that he was personally making some great changes. Obviously, his Wuthering Waves 2.0 experience was great. He really appreciated that. But now there still was that impression, right, held by a lot of players that he was, by proxy of his chat, right, and the stuff that they were saying every time he played WuWa, they were saying like, get off the game, trash game, EOS, all that stuff. He admits to not reading his chat, or not really moderating his chat or doing anything about his chat in prior days. And now at this point, right, it's come back full swing. And this is the result, in my opinion, of that kind of negative impression that he created way back in the day. And so with that, let's hear a little bit more.
Imagine playing Genshin Impact 5.3. You just played Wuthering Waves 2.0 and now you're playing this dog shit game. Only 1.4k, 1.3k viewers when I just started playing, compared to Wuthering Waves when at launch we got like 2k viewers, right? Imagine going around in bikes when you can fly and all that kind of stuff, right? But this has been a constant throughout my entire playthrough of the goddamn story. And usually, I don't even, especially when I do story, I don't really tend to read chat that much because I want to immerse myself in the story. But my experience playing this Genshin 5.3, it has been barraged by these chatters so much that I felt a little bit bad that my mind couldn't fully focus on Genshin 5.3.
Ban him, time him out for a day, time him out for multiple days, time him out for a week, or just permanently ban him, right? You've got a lot of power as a streamer to curate your chat, and I do understand, right? You might not be comfortable with like losing the viewers, -1, -2, -3 viewers, blah, blah, blah. But if you feel like they're actively detracting from your experience, if you feel like the shit that your chat is saying is quite literally annoying the shit out of you, this is, in the words of Tectone, your channel is your house. And those are words that I take true to heart whenever I stream. Like, if there's somebody that's annoying the shit out of me, I'll be like, I'll pull them up and I'll just be like, yo, what do you mean by this? Or stop that shit right now. And, part of that is your moderators chiming in to help as well, because, they have access to the timeout on the ban buttons too. But if people are causing problems and you're not doing anything about it because you want your chat to be like lively or something, I mean, you just admitted it yourself, Pokke, like you don't really read your chat during the story. So it's like, if they're at the point where they're forcing you to read the chat because of all the vile shit that they're saying, do something about it.
After my mods ban or time out one guy, and 2 more will come out, and then another one, and another one, and another one. Like, it just went on non-stop for 4 hours. I think towards the end, when there was a cinema at the final fight, I didn't ease down a little bit, and then it happened again. Now, I don't mean this to... Okay, and I really don't think this is like an instigating or a war video, because I don't think this is pertaining to any content creators. This is specifically on my experience playing a game, and why I think there's... I don't really have a problem with it, because at the end of the day, there's nothing on the line for me, right? There's nothing on the line on me playing Wuthering Waves or playing Genshin Impact, because a majority of the time, play Honkai Starbucks, a little bit of Zenless Zone Zero, and I dabble in Genshin or Wuthering Waves every single time a new patch launches out. So there's really nothing on the line for me, whether I play Wuthering Waves or Genshin or not. But it is just very unfortunate that my playing experience today, especially right after my playing experience in Wuthering Waves, it was such a world of difference for my chat's behavior when I was playing Wuthering Waves for 3 days straight compared to 1 day of playing Genshin Impact.
Think about it this way. I think it's also fair to say, Pokke, that you playing WuWa for 3 days straight, having basically nothing but good things to say about the game, and basically going ahead, right, and talking about the quality, enjoying the overall experience, again, playing it for 3 days, that probably cultivated a fair number of, let's just call them like WuWa stands, you know, like Premier Kurobots, right, in your chat. People that, you know, saw that you enjoyed the game, saw that you enjoyed what they were enjoying as well, and then you went ahead and then you switched, right, completely over to Genshin Impact, which in a lot of ways is genuinely viewed as an inferior product. And so obviously I think there's going to be people, right? Think about all the new subs, all the new followers, all the new community members that you had after playing your WuWa for that 3-day stretch, playing 2.0 for that 3-day stretch. And when you think about that, right, and then you immediately switch to Genshin Impact, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? And so I think it would have made sense, right, to kind of go in with the context of like, hey guys, I know you might be coming here after Wuthering Waves. I really enjoy 2.0, but now we're going to play Genshin 5.3 instead, right? We're going to be seeing what this game looks like in comparison, and then kind of like set the tone for your chat heading into it. I don't know if you actually did that. I didn't watch your stream, but it sounds like from what was going on, maybe that didn't happen.
And at this point, I don't even know if they are my chatters or not my chatters. Some of them don't even follow me. Some of them follow me just to comment whatever they want to say. And it's just very, very unfortunate that I had to experience this during my playthrough. Now, I know that I'm not a Genshin main, or I'm not a Wuthering Waves main, right? So my own chat, they don't really watch me specifically for Genshin.
Oh, I know they don't, because they're just spreading straight up misinformation about the game in your chat all the time. I know your chat doesn't, believe me.
Specifically for Wuthering Waves, most of the time it's the Honkai Starbucks. I would say that's like more than 50% of the time what I stream, aside from the variety and all that kind of stuff. But during my short time in both games, the amount of shit that I had to deal with chat today was ridiculous. Genuinely, it was so ridiculous, and I also didn't want to stop focusing on the story in the middle and then just like pick it out, because I didn't really want it to influence the remaining or like the majority of the audience they were watching. But it was just yeah, it is quite unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate. I'm not saying that this is like a way of saying I should play Wuthering Waves more, because Wuthering Waves in their opinion is like a better game, or I should play Genshin Impact less, because Genshin Impact does not have Fly. Genshin Impact does not have, it's like it's a kid's game, and Genshin Impact is Paimon, whatever kind of stuff. At the end of the day, which is, you know, the whole point why I even played both patches at the same place, is I want to experience these games for myself. You know, it's basically a single patch in a gacha game that holds almost no, or rather less significance compared to the other gacha games that I play, specifically Star Rail, right? And it really makes me wonder if being a gacha streamer that doesn't focus on one game, is that even a good thing? Because what's the point of playing all these different games? And like, yeah, I'm a tourist. I admit I'm a tourist at this point, right? Even though we play a lot of Wuthering Waves at the start, I admit I'm a tourist at this point. Is that I still want to enjoy all these other patches that the big gacha games have released for my own personal enjoyment. Because at the core of it, I still am a gamer, right? I still like the feeling of Gamba, the feeling of winning or losing on 50-50, the feeling of using these brand new units, whether be it the elemental system in Genshin Impact or the dodge, quick parry, quick assist, resonant swap and whatever. I don't give a shit, man. I just want to enjoy it. And when it's done, I move on. But at this point, it's really making me doubt if this can even be a net positive for the viewers or the community that I'm trying to build in my channel. Because let's just be real, if I were to just focus on one game, if I were to just play Honkai Star Rail, we wouldn't be having this discussion today, and I wouldn't be making this video, because there wouldn't be other community members that are in that game saying, oh, this game, my game is better than your game, and your game is better than my game.
Well, this is the thing. you did play other games earlier in the past. Like MrPokke, you did play other games. You played WuWa when it released, right? You dipped your toes. You made quite a few videos on WuWa and then kind of backed away from the game. Didn't really commit that much time. Didn't really have that much space on your channel for it. And so I guess just going from that context of like, you kind of like in a lot of ways, people have the perspective that you quit the game and then it looked like you were coming back for 2.0. Guess there was like a lot of rumors, right? Or kind of like, I guess stuff that you didn't even deny, that you were going back in to like kind of commit to the game more. And people were, I think that there were a fair number of your community members. Just think about it as people that are coming over from Tectone. You guys share, I think, a fair number of chatters as well. And then, you know that Tectone's chat loves Wuthering Waves too. I think coming in with like that sort of context and, knowing that it almost seems like you're threatening to like quit the game or threatening to just not play it ever is almost like, it almost seems like you're trying to like dangle this thing in front of people. That's the perspective that people might be having, right? After you've, in a sense, done a fair bit of instigating. And so even though I know you're like obviously managing your chat a lot more, reading it a lot more, and preventing more of like that discord that's been going on, it's not like people are going to forget what happened over the past 6 months. They're just not really going to, right? It's not like going to be like just old news that people don't really know about. People kind of view you as the Giga instigator. And so you were kind of like instigating Wuthering Waves for a fair amount of the year. Then you came back and then you started really supporting it for 2.0. And then you go to like the other side, right? Its biggest competitor, Genshin Impact. And so again, right, there are always going to be bad apples, but there might also be like some legitimate complaints in there as well. And so weeding out those bad apples and then ensuring, right, that you're managing, moderating your chat moving forward, that's really the best way to go about it. And I guess openly admitting to just not moderating your chat or not moderating your community, and then I guess like complaining about the stuff that's going on, this to a degree does sound like a self-inflicted issue.
Or comments like, oh my god, why are you such a tourist? You don't know how to do this. Okay, these comments I don't really care, right? I know I suck at the game. I think it's entertaining as well. I think it's very funny that my chat cooks me. I think those are fine. But it's mainly when I play both games as a game that I just want to enjoy, and it ends up instigating war in my chat simply from me playing the game. You can check my VOD for all 3 days. You can just simply check. We were literally just doing story, and the amount of chatters that I've had today that were just behaving like kids, it's just.
So you know what you do when adult people behave like kids? You treat them like kids. You put them in timeout. And, for some of those adults that are behaving like kids, you put them in timeout permanently. And so, I mean, it's genuinely just, you didn't have an adequate response to what was happening. And I do believe that this spiraling out of control to the degree where it's affecting you this much, again, self-inflicted issue.
What's the point of me trying to branch out and do different games if at the end of the day, it just ends up coming back and foster a chat that is driven by war and drama, by comparison, by my game is better than your game, or your game is worse than my game? There's no point. At this point, I'm basically kind of done with Genshin Impact. One, because, I do want to go back and play Star Rail, because tomorrow is going to be the new Memory of Chaos update. Two is also because I kind of finished everything. And three is, okay, it's legit. The reason why I still kind of don't want to continue is it just gives my chat it creates that environment where I can see why people would say my chat has a shit chat. Because it ends up making this, oh my god, why are you playing this dog shit game? And it just happens throughout the entire time. So why the fuck would I continue on? It doesn't have to be Genshin Impact, but I'm just saying this for like any gacha games. If I have to be in a gacha community where the player base themselves are so fucking holed up in their gacha tribalism to the point where if their streamer does not play the game they enjoy and the ends up just turning the chat into a war zone, then why should I even continue that?
Well, this is the thing. Why are creators like Fob able to stream like 17 gacha games? Why is Fob able to stream Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, and not have his chat be like yours? You want to know what Fob's viewer count was at yesterday while he was playing WuWa? It was at like 4.7k. Pokke, if your chat is acting up like this when you were at like 1.3, 1.4, which was stated earlier in the video over here, and your chat is acting up like that, why is Fob's behaving at like double those numbers, right? It's not like rocket science here. I'm not even sure if Fob moderates his chat either. It is because of, in a lot of ways, probably like the tone tone that he's setting, either prior to the situation. And it's also a matter of, like, I'm pretty sure Fob just bans people as well that are also annoying the shit out of him. And so again, it's like, I think I'm seeing like a chatter over here that said that one of your mods went into Tectone's chat and says that they do moderate it, but it's very lenient. I mean, you're allowed to increase the strictness of your moderation when you deem it necessary to clean up your chat, to clean up your community, to make them, you know, more approachable, and to, in a lot of ways, right, make it more approachable to new viewers.
You know what I'm saying? I don't really even make that many, I would say, like, I don't really know how you define it as like value adding content, because for me, I think at this point, for both Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact, I'm doing content that, you know, is really just out of enjoyment, right? Like pulls, summons, story, review the patches a little bit here and there. For Wuthering Waves, at the start, we made a lot of guides at the very start. But then we kind of, you know, it's an open world gacha game. I just didn't really go out of love with it. So we just kind of moved on. Doesn't mean that if I have to... It really comes to the point where, is it my fault as a streamer for playing games that is something the gacha tribalism people deem not good?
No, it's not your fault for being a victim of gacha tribalism. What I will say is your fault is letting gacha tribalism run your chat. Like, you as the streamer, you have the full power to curate your chat, to give your mods directions on what to time out, on what to permaban, on what to clean up. And if you are basically, like, let's just say radioactive sewage just spilled on your land, you're a farmer, and you have the decision, right, of just letting it continue spilling over onto all your crops and into your house and destroy your home, or you can decide to, like, quarantine it, right, stop the spread and not let it, you know, ruin your experience or your life, basically. And when you decide not to moderate your chat and, like, not read it or just try to ignore it, right, you're just letting the radioactive sewage dominate everything you own, or like dominate your stream in this scenario. And not doing that is like, again, you have the full control to stop this, but you're simply choosing not to in this circumstance, and then kind of like blaming the community and then blaming like the outer sphere.
And if that's the case, should I just stay in Honkai Star Rail or like in Zenless Zone Zero? Because when I play those two games, we don't get a comparison. Because then again, there won't be another Honkai Star Rail to compare with as of this point. And for Zenless Zone Zero, there also isn't that much of a comparison. It's specifically at this point for Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact. And as unfortunate as it is to have this conversation, I don't really know if this happens to other content creators, because I might be one of the few that legit dabbles in a lot, right? I would love to hear what Fob thinks of this, if Fob ever reacts to this video, because I know Fob also plays a shit ton of different games. Like, he plays WuWa, he plays Genshin, he plays all that. Maybe he plays Genshin now, plays Genshin less nowadays. I would love to hear like what these other content creators or what these other streamers experience. Because for me at this point, I feel that it's just like what's the point, man? You know? So, holy shit. Genuinely cannot believe. Yo, Kiwi, thanks for the 8 months. This will be my quick little rant regarding what happened to me today. I don't really know what to title this video. I'll think about it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is kind of farm shit. It's like a 12-minute video, so like I'll probably make like what, $50 on this. So it is really just to encourage a discussion within the community and see where things go from here, right? So, okay, I just finished having a pretty interesting conversation, right? We have a pretty nice conversation with Tectone. It's been around 1 hour ever since.
I remember
so
that chat.
Just additional what I think after, you know, really thinking through what I just said. In retrospect, I think maybe I should have just played Genshin first before Wuthering Waves, because if I did that first, the Genshin chatters, or rather the people that play Wuthering Waves, they probably wouldn't watch my stream to begin with, and then they'll think I'm a Genshin guy, so they'll leave me alone. And then once I play Wuthering Waves, I don't think the Genshin guys will disturb me for playing Wuthering Waves, because...
Okay. Now I feel like you're starting to blame Wuthering Waves players a little bit too much for this situation. You had just been on a 3-day streak of playing Wuthering Waves 2.0, and you had nothing but glowing remarks to say about the game. Maybe a couple of minor critiques here and there, but overall a very positive reception to the game. And so when you are, again, let's think about it this way, right? What happened during the WuWa 2.0 live stream? You had Hoyo shills coming into the chat basically spoiling the entirety of the 2.0 story, doing all of this wild shit, right, to try to sabotage the game. You could imagine, right, that unless you're framing it from the experience of, okay, now I'm just trying to experience the other side, which I don't think you did that sort of framing heading into 5.3. Like going in to do like a comparison or something along those lines. It's a lot of pent up kind of like vindication for Wuthering Waves players who have basically been getting shit talked since launch for the past 7 months. Now they released probably the best 2.0 patch that has ever been in gacha gaming, right? And now they get to directly compare it to what many objectively view as an inferior product in 5.3. You're going to have people, right? I think you had to have gone in with the expectation that people were going to kind of, you know, have a couple of funny things to say about 5.3, knowing how good 2.0 was. And again, not preparing for that in the moderation of your chat, not preparing for what comments you know you're going to receive, knowing how good 2.0 was. I mean, I'm not really sure, like, the blame lies on both sides here.
Let's just be real, I think Wuthering Waves 2.0 was a pretty impressive upgrade. And it's not like what's the Genshin guys gonna do? Oh my god, y'all don't have dinosaurs, right? So I think I probably should have done that instead in retrospect. Play Genshin first, then play WuWa, and then for both halves, I think the hate would be lesser. Also, we did play Wuthering Waves for 3 days, so maybe it would happen the first day, and then by day 2 and 3 would have been lesser. So probably should have done that. Second thing that I kind of want to about in retrospect. Okay, I just focus on Julian's ass cheeks. I think the second thing I kind of want to talk about in retrospect is I think comparisons between both games, they would be kind of inevitable because fundamentally they are both open world gacha games, and like they both almost target the same core demographic. And while they kind of differ in like combat and like the different means of like they're definitely not the same game, but it's kind of the same game, same but different. So not making the comparison, I really tried to not make any comparison in the little Genshin story review just now, but it was so difficult because every single time I made the comparison, it kind of made me think of the other game, and then once I think of one game, it made me think of the other game, right? So
and that's literally just a natural thing to do because the controls, the jumping, the navigation, the exploration, there are so many things in common, right? That's like saying when I drink Coke, right? I'm trying in my mind not to compare it to other sodas. You're literally just fighting against the natural thing that every person does. It's like trying on a pair of pants or a shirt and trying not to actively compare it to the other pants or shirts you've worn before. I genuinely don't understand what the problem with comparisons are in this context, because it is quite literally how your brain operates.
On that hand, I think comparison is fine, and if anything, comparison is good because it kind of brings about discussion, brings about feedback for both gaming companies on like what can they learn and what can they improve on for their future projects. But there is a fundamental difference between comparison and gacha tribalism, which is what caused the whole thing to begin with. Because it wasn't comparison in the form of a, oh, they can improve here. It was just, why are you playing this dog shit game?
So one example of when I've had this sort of gacha tribalism in my chat that MrPokke is talking about. One time that I've had it, in a chatter actually brought it up, one of my mods. It was this situation over here. So basically, I started playing ZZZ 1.4 in the attempt, right, to see whether or not this update was worth returning to the game, right? I heard a lot of great things about ZZZ 1.4, about the new character Miyabi, all of, you know, the removal of TVs, all of those things, right? And I'd have a couple of chatters, the gacha tribalism WuWa Kurobots, right, who would be asking me, why are you playing this dog shit game? Stop playing this game, go play WuWa instead. And you want to know what I did? I timed out and I banned them after telling them, if you don't stop this shit, right, like, I'm literally here to see whether or not it's worth playing because of how gacha games work. You're not going to play only one gacha game likely for your entire life, right, or for your entire season or your playtime. Gacha games are designed in a way where you have time to do other things, play other games on the side while also playing a gacha game. And so I was literally there for the purpose of, you know, letting my chat know, letting WuWa players know whether or not ZZZ was going to be worth their time. And it's just not attempting to clean up your chat and just letting negative comments like that, you know, really doesn't have any purpose other than to sow discord and cause problems in your chat. not stopping that and then blaming gacha tribalism when you can, or blaming communities, right, for their tribalism, when you can just literally take it out of your chat. I guess even in like this conclusion over here, right after the talk with Tectone, he's not even talking about like banning people or like removing people from his community that are causing problems. He's talking about like reordering how he would have done the content instead of just being like, I should have just banned all of these people. I should have banned all these troublemakers. I should have timed out people for like days or weeks instead. But it's just now we're like going ahead and we're talking about like the reordering of like the content when it's just like, no, it's just ban the fucking people, dude. Like, you're not going to be remiss from losing like 20, 30 viewers.
Right?
Those, it's
so I
probably
think there's
20
a very
or 30.
big difference between both there. And yeah. Oh, and also one last thing. I might permaban more. Hopefully it's not you, because I really don't permaban that much. But
why not? I'm glad he's gonna start permabanning people, but like, why not do it before? Why not just permaban the people that were saying that Genshin story, that Genshin World Quest didn't lock off exploration? They're just lying in your chat. Just ban them. Why keep people that are just lying in your chat and actively spreading misinformation? Or like talking about shit they have no idea what they're talking about and just confusing other people and making your chat, and by proxy you, look stupid. Just ban them. It's really that simple. Or time them out for a week. Give them an actual punishment for bad behavior. Pokke, there's a reason why many considered and still consider your chat one of the worst chats in gacha gaming. It's because you essentially are like a honeypot. You're like a mosquito trap, but it doesn't actually kill the mosquitoes. It just draws all of the mosquitoes in, but then they don't die. That's basically what happens. It's just you have all of these like incredibly stupid or ill-intentioned people in your chat that never actually get banned, and then they just all congregate around your chat and make it one of the worst in gacha gaming. Genuinely, just ban them. Just get them out. It'll be so much better. I guarantee it. You'll be able to play whatever game you want without any of this gacha tribalism stuff. If people see your chat acting toxic openly in every single context possible, that's just going to attract more people that are toxic and want to be toxic and want gacha tribalism. Seeing them not get banned and not get called out means that you're going to attract more viewers. That's absolutely correct. You're going to attract more viewers. But are those the type of viewers that you actively want in your channel?
you know, after the day, it is what it is. All right. Okay, cool. There's no word of the day. Word of the day is sad.
Okay. But yeah, that's my take on this whole matter. It's genuinely, to me, it's just a matter of like, it's a little bit of like, you reap what you sow, but it's also like, you also, whatever was being reaped in this situation, you just let it corrupt your experience or corrupt your chat or like cause problems. You had the full power to stop it, but I mean you don't. So again, my conclusion here for this entire situation is this is entirely a self-inflicted issue that you had full power to stop, but you simply chose not to. And so objectively, you have the ban button, use it. Peace out.
Thank you.